YouTube friends and family to the Bok Bok edition of the Wellness Homesteader. That is Miss Jolene. They're like, what are you talking about, my mom? So there's Fancy Ray and Jolene. Marigold is just chickening around, and Violet is in the lane box. So we're not going to do a garden tour today, but I wanted to share something with you. Just as a whole, I'm sure you can see the look of the garden is quite different. So let's just take a look at a couple things very quickly. So yes, indeed, I have pumpkins already turning orange. I have some that are green. These two, I believe, are pie pumpkins. This is my loofah. And so far I have seen no evidence of any blooms or gourds. So of course I'm just gonna leave it there. We'll see. I've got a few tall stalks of that. But if you just look at as a whole, you can see some of the early leaves are dying back. And just, it doesn't look quite as full in the pumpkin patch as it did. Even my zucchini is, a little less than what it was. I have, even though it looks bad, guys, my butternut squash is doing wonderfully. I have quite a few at the end of these vines. My beans, as you notice, are gone. I still have some sugar snap peas and peppers. My sunflowers are starting to lose their leaves. Some of my zinnias are going to seed. So, and over there you can see my cucumbers, and these are also mammoth pumpkins. So what does all of this mean, and why am I showing you my less than gorgeous garden? Well, I hope you'll stay tuned to find out. So the whole time I was filming outside, I was like, don't squeeze your hand, don't squeeze your hand. So this is a marigold, and then one of the stripy chickens, as I call them. It's either Fancy Ray or Jolene's egg. Violet's trying to lay, so I'm still owed one, and yes, I do keep score. So we're gonna stick these over here, give our hands a quick wash, and let's talk a little bit about the weather. And what's going on in Ohio. I think a lot of people think of Ohio as a northern state, and it is a northern state to a degree. But guys, we have miserably, did I mention it was miserable? Miserably hot summers here. And we will usually have a week or two or 7 of some mid to upper 90s, and then we will have some really high humidity. And I know that is nothing for those of you in Texas, out in Phoenix, and in Arizona, or who live in a desert environment. You might be thinking, well, that's nothing. But one of the things about where I live in Ohio is it is so humid here. So we had a glorious day yesterday with a high of 78. It's like 81 today. Humidity's not bad, but it is going to climb through the week. But in spite of that, guys, harvest is here. So I've probably done more canning this year than I have done, I think, in any year of my life, because for many years I did not can. I had, maybe some pot plants when I worked and traveled because it was very difficult to keep a garden alive. But I'm in a different season of life, if you will, right now. So yesterday, because it was cooler, I started really getting the urge for fall and to decorate for fall. And I think one of the fun things to do is to not only enjoy the cool days, but sometimes I like to get a jump start on fall and burn all the things pumpkin spice or apple cider smells, candles. So I did switch my candles out, but I don't want to full on decorate. And I was thinking about that because y'all, I watch only YouTube. I don't watch any television at all. Occasionally I'll watch something on Prime Video, but it's usually a Hallmark movie. I'm just not a big TV watcher. And a lot of the influencers, and I will say younger gals, probably half my age, they are already doing the tours of the Hobby Lobbies, the Kirklands, the Home Goods, TJ Maxx, showing all of the lovely things they have for fall and Halloween. Some of them are even decorating, but I am not ready for that because I will get tired of it because I usually leave it up until Christmas decorating time. I'll change a little bit from fall to spooky season to a little bit more Halloween. But I thought, you know, I wonder if anybody decorates for harvest. So, you know, I went to Google University or YouTube University, and I didn't really find a lot. And I thought, well, I'm gonna start a thing here. So over the next couple days, today's actually Saturday, I'm gonna work on some harvest type decorations. And I have promised myself, and it was hard, y'all. When I went this morning for my lash appointment and I came back through big town where I could have stopped at a Home Goods. Oh, I could have stopped at so many places. Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, you know, all the fun places. I thought, no, you know, I haven't even looked to see what I have. And I knew I had a wreath kit that I had ordered last year that I think I got on sale. Don't hold me to that, might not have, that I did not make. And I thought, this is going to be perfect. Let's make ourselves a harvest wreath. And then I'm gonna do a little decorating on the front porch. And that's going to be tomorrow. Now, usually or often, I will leave my bunting and my 4th of July type things up through Labor Day. But this year I thought, no, let's start bringing in touches of harvest because harvest has been such a focus for me this year. I feel like that's all I've done. And I still have a lot to go, y'all. I have not picked the first like slicing or big tomato, only cherry tomatoes. I've got all those tomatoes to can, but I love to can, so it's all good. So let me reposition the camera here. I'm gonna show you the materials that I have. I hope I have everything pre-cut and just share with you if you wanna order something similar. Now realize this was a kit from last year. It's not available this year. I did check, but she has so many gorgeous things. Or maybe you just want to go to Hobby Lobby and buy some of these materials. So I'm going to reposition the camera and I'll be right back with you. All right, y'all. If you're new to my channel, I always forget this. I want to say a big welcome because we have a lot of new subscribers. If you happened on this video because you want to do some harvest decorating, my name is Kym. I hope that you will consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It will notify you anytime I go live or do a new upload. I do a variety of things here on the channel, including crafts and decor, but I do a lot of homesteading type chores with chickens and gardening and canning, and I like to cook as well. So, guys, this is gorgeous, isn't it? Look at this wreath, and it's like a, it's not like a bright orange, it's like a bittersweet color. You know, bittersweet, the little orange berries. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. I've never had a colored one quite like that. It also came with 4 ribbons. But again, guys, you can build your own kit. Now, the wreaths, this is like a limb off of an artificial Christmas tree. There are 18 ties on this one. Some of the ones at Hobby Lobby, and I've used them, I've even used dollar store ones, don't already have the ties on them, so you have to use like pipe cleaners instead or some type of a wire, but I usually just use pipe cleaners if it's not a already pre-wired type wreath. So I'm going to be using 4 ribbons. 2, I'm so bad with size. 2 1-inch, wait, no. Yeah, 2 1-inch, oh, golly, and 2 2.5-inch. So for the 1-inch, I have this lovely burgundy, and then I have this pumpkin, and it is more teal, honestly, than this color of blue, but again, it's a kit. It'll all go together. It'll look fine. I'm not worried about it. But you could use anything, and even, like Joann's will have a sale on it, Hobby Lobby, Michael's if you have that in your area. Where else have I bought? I have bought some at Dollar Tree. Just be mindful of how much ribbon is on the spool because a lot of times Dollar Tree, it's very little. And you do want a wired ribbon. So in other words, it has a wire running through each side so that you can shape it. If you use non-wired ribbon, what happens? Well, your wreath looks like this. Non-wired ribbon is great for if you're making like cheer bows or hair thingies, but I prefer the wired ribbon for wreath making. And then I have like that same bittersweet, it's a little bit darker than the wreath, in a bright blue. And it's showing a little brighter blue than what it really is. Excuse me. So what came with the kit? This is the sign that came with the kit. Guys, I think it looks like Raggedy Ann, Raggedy Andy. I didn't like the sign. So this is suitable for regifting, you know, friends that also make wreaths. So what I chose, and I think it's much cuter, is a much smaller, I think this is an 8-inch. Yeah, this is an 8-inch round where that's a 12. And as you see, it's a little more lifelike, but it doesn't say happy fall, y'all. I wish it said happy harvest, I really do. Or, you know, it's pumpkin season or whatever. It's just a nice plain sign, and it goes really well with this blue and with the orange. The only color, and the pumpkin's fine, there's not a lot of this darker color, but it kind of brings out the leaves. So I decided this was what I wanted to order, and I had forgotten that I ordered the extra one. Now, for mesh, what are we gonna use around it? So what came with the kit? And y'all, it's really pretty. It looks a little gaudy when I hold it up, but I think it's gonna be beautiful. It is a gold, like metallic mesh, but it's got that lovely golden color that leaves turn in the fall. And then there's a pale blue, but as you see, it's fine with all of these fallish colors, particularly with the pumpkin ribbon. So if you've never made a wreath before, let me just tell you this. I'm not an expert. I took a wreath making class, and I did a lot of YouTube University. I buy my supplies, and I'll try to remember to leave a link, from hardworkingmom.com/shop. But if you just Google hardworkingmom.com, it'll come up. She has everything. Now, one thing to remember, she sells a lot to people who have this as their business. So she's gonna be a couple seasons ahead, like it's full on Christmas over there, but she still has some fall things too. I cannot recommend her wreath forms enough. So as you see, they're very, very dimensional, extremely sturdy. I've never had a problem with the tie. I have never made a wreath for someone and they disliked it. I've made them for my mother. I've given them, all the neighbors might have one too. That was from the wreath class, because I just had so many I didn't know what to do, and it was a Christmas wreath class. All right, so I pre-cut everything because y'all don't want to watch me just using scissors. The mesh, I just use a rotary cutter, and just be really careful with this, guys. For the ribbon, you can use the rotary cutter. I like to use scissors. So the first thing that I did was I cut 9 of each color ribbon into a 1-foot length, and then I did what's called dovetail the ends. So you fold the ribbon in half and you make a cut like this towards the wire, and then you've got this pretty little V. And I kind of played around with the colors, but the idea is on each one of these, once we get the mesh on, we're going to put 2 ribbons on. So I decided to use the blue with the pumpkins and then the orange and the red. I thought that made the best. So we're using 1 2.5 inch, 1 inch. So I just went ahead and cut all these, and then I've got them stacked and ready to go. The other thing, y'all, be careful about what shirt you wear. If you're wearing a knit shirt, like I happen to be wearing today, some of this mesh is picky, and it will have a tendency to grab your clothes, and it can pick your clothes, so you may want to wear an apron. So over here, which you can't see, I've cut my mesh. I cut 8 of each color. So my plan is to alternate the 2 colors going all the way around, and to alternate the ribbons. So the next decision you're gonna have to make is, do you want the solid colors with the gold and the blue with the blue, or do you want it the other way around? I'm gonna do it this way, okay? So I have 9 of each of these colors. Now I cut a 34-inch piece, and if you get a 10-yard rule, you have more, 2 10-yard rules, you have more than enough. So I just stretch it out like this, hold it, and then just cut it off. So very simple. There are a million folds, guys. Some people just like to scrunch it all up, kind of like a bow tie. Let me see if I can do this. And I don't know all the fancy names, kind of like this. Some people like to do what's called the woodland ruffle, which is what I'm going to be doing, which is you curl it on each end and then squish it in the middle. I have a couple, they're actually clothespins from Dollar Tree. So I don't have all the fancy dancy tools, but let me just give you, hold on, guys. Oh, y'all, I don't like my new ring light. I pop the camera off every time. So you can go at it two ways. You can put it on the right side or the wrong side. I am going to start on the wrong side and I'm going to turn it over 1, 2, 3. So what this is doing is basically getting rid of your raw edges so that it's not going to stick out and be grabbing everyone's hair as they walk by. Ask me how I know. And same thing here, 1, 2, 3. And then you want to push with your thumbs, pull with your fingers. So we're just going to gather it. Right like that. And what you end up with is still a bow tie, but as you see, it's got some fancy schmancy curls on the sides of it. So then we're going to pull over our wreath. Now I like to start on the outside. I don't guess there's any right or wrong way. You need 10 ties on your outside. So let me just open these up. And if you happen to have a pre-tied wreath and you break one, just put a pipe cleaner on it. You're good. I have broken one once and that was my own fault. So I'm going to put this color on and I'm going to twist just a couple times. And here's what it looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it is. Now, let me also share with you, because this is a dimensional wreath, it can get really fat. And for this particular wreath, I want it for my front door. So I'm not trying to make the fullest wreath ever. If I was trying to make a fuller wreath, I would be doing two things. One is I would take my leftover mesh, I would measure out 8 inches, cut it, and make just a curl, just a tube. And I would put it on here and I would use the contrasting color. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I haven't decided yet. The other thing I would do is I would be putting a big floofy bow on it. And the reason I'm not gonna do that is it just ends up smashed between the storm door, as we call it here in Ohio, and the screen door, I'm sorry, and the actual front door. So I don't want to do that. So again, I'm just turning it over about 3 times. Push with my thumbs, pull with my fingers, just like that. Clip it together. And again, we have the pretty curl on the end. So I'm going to go to my next one. Now, you're going to find as your wreath gets fuller, it gets a little tougher. So I'm going to place it in with the clip, then remove the clip. I'm going to twist it twice, and then you kind of want to marry these up together because they will stick to each other. And this keeps your wreath from being, you know, it gives it still some dimension. It won't be so flattened out. I really think the curls are a good idea, but let's go ahead and go all the way around. I'm not going to make you watch that. I'll bring you back when I've gotten all the way around and we can decide together. We'll go ahead and put our ribbons on and decide, does it need a curl or no? I think it's gonna need a curl. I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, so what I decided to do is to go ahead and make the curls, and I made the curls by simply cutting 8 inches of the deco mesh and just rolling it up, put the ribbons on top, and I've gone all the way around the outside. So there are 10 ties on the outside. Is that right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe I'm one short. Well, anyway, now we're gonna work on the inside. So the easiest way to do your ribbons is to pull them down. If you try to spread them out, what happens is once you start opening up these, then it has a tendency to push everything down anyway, so you'll end up redoing your work if you're going to try to stretch them up. But I like them down. Makes the wreath flatter if you have, you know, some issue with your door space. So I'm just going to go around, do the same thing that I did on the outside. So I will do the woodland ruffle. I will tie those in. I will use a curl, 2 pieces of ribbon, and then I will bring you back and show you how I'm going to add the sign. All right, y'all, our beautiful wreath is finished with all of our ribbons and curls and such. Now, I am going to take my metal sign. I am going to measure exactly half, and I am just gonna put a black Sharpie dot right in the middle. And there's a number of ways to do this if you don't have this special tool. It is, simply a tool that is gonna punch a fine hole. So that is my next step. And this is what we're going to feed our wire through to wire our sign onto the wreath. Now you have some choices. You can, see, it makes a real tiny hole. You can put your sign up on top of your curls and not make it recess down in. You can nestle it in a little further, fluff up your ribbons around it, which is probably what I will do. So let me adjust the camera. Hopefully I can do this. Yeah. So there you go. So even though this is showing like really yellow, it matches everything very, very well. Now you could put a big bow, and I used every inch of the mesh, but I did have ribbon from the kit left over. So I'm just going to take some wire. I'm gonna cut it, with little wire cutters. I'm gonna feed it through, and I'm gonna secure it in the back to the frame. So let me get that done. I will bring you back. We'll take a look at our final wreath just here shortly. I need to go check on my chicken girls. When they get quiet, it makes me nervous. All right, I'll be back shortly. So just to show you quickly, once you feed your wire through, kind of match up your ends, you want to go ahead and you want to twist. Now I am using a pretty heavy gauge wire because that's what I happen to have in my kit, but you want to twist so that it is secure, and go ahead and do that top and bottom. I actually have a little plastic needle that I also am not going to hunt up. So I'm going to just hand feed it through. So, you know, there was a long time I didn't have any of these specialty little tools. But one thing I did want to caution you about, once you feed it through and wire it securely to the frame, you want to cut the wires off, tuck them in so that it does not scratch your, pardon me, the wire doesn't scratch your door. All right, y'all, our beautiful scarecrow wreath is finished. And it'll only be a moment for you, but tomorrow I'm going to be working on a little bit of harvest decor for the front porch, so stay tuned for that. But y'all, when I went out to check the girls, look, I found 5 beautifully ripe tomatoes, so I am gonna go have myself a tomato sandwich, which I've been dreaming of since last summer. Enjoy that and take a little relax. I've been extremely busy today, but again, it'll only be a second for you, and we'll get to decorating the front porch. All right, stay tuned. I told you it'd be just a moment. So this morning you find me out on my porch. It's gonna be a scorcher. It's only 60 degrees right now. And y'all, look at this cute little flag. It came with this little pinchy thing that you're supposed to be able to pinch your flag together, like, you know, to keep it from flipping around. Oh, that's... Yeah, if you just keep fiddling with it, you will figure it out. I'm kind of impressed, and I will link, I did get a couple items from Amazon, and I'll link them below. But this is absolutely adorable. Nice, thick, heavy. It has a stop that you put on here, a stop here, so you know it doesn't end up all gobbled up. And then the clip, operator error, to keep it from flipping around. With that, y'all, I just buy pillow covers. I reuse the same pillows over and over and over. I found the same pillow, and Frankie said, Mom, you need that. You need that, Mom. So those two were new purchases. A lot of what you're going to see I've already had. And I'm not doing a ton, guys. I'm not doing a ton. I'm trying not to. Another thing I did buy, I like to sit out here in my big rocker. And I found this, and I think it's so pretty. It's a plaid blanket. It is not expensive, y'all. But it has all the fall feels. And I think it would be nice to be able to come out here in the morning. Soft throw blanket. Okay. But it has all the right fall colors. Kind of matches our wreath that we made yesterday. So I'm going to put that on the big rocker. I got out some decor that I did last year. If you've been a long-time subscriber, you remember when we made this. So I'm going to put that up. Last year or the year before at the DG, and guys, this is paper thin. I have this little fall welcome mat, I guess you would say. I'm going to put it on top of another. And then my last purchase, please be good. I think this is going to be just perfect. Oh, it is. I just love these side banners. This says Happy Harvest. And this one doesn't say anything, but it has the scarecrow, like our wreath. So I'm going to move the camera out. I need to sweep. I need to clean the storm door. Windows are not my favorite thing, guys, even though I'm the DIY queen. I'd rather make another wreath, I think, than do that. I have some leaves and some garland I just brought out thinking, well, okay, maybe I can wrap it around my grapevine tree. But I just want to put little touches of fall that are going to make it feel cooler, I hope. They keep changing our forecast, y'all. First it was like high of 90. Now they're up to high of 93. Not for today, later in the week. And we're just going to have one of our regular summer heat waves and no rain in sight for a week. Sorry about that water bill. So I am wearing my festive scarecrow earrings in honor of decorating for harvest. So let's get busy. I am going to get started. I'm going to hang my banners first, then we'll get the door cleaned. I've put the wreath on the door. Guys, it's so pretty. But it's like, when you shut the door, it's like this. But that's okay. All right, let's get busy. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it, but there's some egg song singing going on right now, and it's not my chickens. So what I like to do when I am decorating is not fall over, but I like to do like a half and then try to balance the other half so that I don't end up with all the decor on one end and not on the other. And I have always dreamed of having, you know, like a country front porch. Whew, egg factory across the way. So, wow, it is really bright, y'all. So what I'm going to do now is sweep the other half of the porch, and my door, which is really, it's a vintage door, but it's painted red, white, and blue. I usually will flip it around and hang something on it. So I'm going to work on that. I need to clean the glass shelves from my daddy's thing over here. and just see what we have left, and we will go from there. So once again, I'm going to speed myself up so this video doesn't get too long, and then I will give you a final. I wish I had pumpkins and shocks of fodder and straw and all the things, but guys, it's just too early, and I'm hoping this will give me like a breath of coolness in the morning. So let's get back to work. All right, y'all. So a little welcome here. Still have a lot of flowers blooming, but I like that there's the little orange. Thank you, Danette. And then I'm sorry about the weird lighting. So this does say Happy Harvest. We have our cute little wreath. Over here we have a pillow and a nice comfy little throw, our buffalo plaid, our thankful sign. I did put a little something on my grapevine tree I'm not sure about. I've changed out our welcome mat. I put the little pumpkin down here. I turned the door, put the harvest sign. And that's what it's looking like. Y'all, it's hard to find a spot this time of the day where the sun's not shining in your face, but I am sitting in the rocker on the front porch, just enjoying, y'all, enjoying the peace and quiet. Not a lot of traffic. Today's Sunday, so not a lot of traffic. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you would do me a huge favor, go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. Do you decorate for harvest? Do you wait for fall? What kind of decor do you do during the autumn season? I'd love to hear and get some new ideas. All right, y'all, I will see you a little later this week, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.